Let's bring in now U.S. Fire Administrator Dr. Lori Moore Merrill. Dr. Moore Merrill, thank you very much for being here. She works as part of the government, the administration, White House administration. Dr. Moore Merrill, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm assuming you can hear and see me okay.
Yeah, we can. Thank you very much. You know, looking at the mission of what the U.S. Fire Administration that you oversee does, here's how it's described. It's part of FEMA, and it says the mission is to support and strengthen fire and emergency medical services and stakeholders to prepare for, prevent, mitigate, and respond to all hazards. How would you say your part of the administration has done in this instance, in this disaster?
I'm sorry, I've lost audio.
Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yes, thank you.
Okay. I don't know if you heard me just describe what is on the website for the U.S. Fire Administration that you oversee. And basically, it's preparation for prevention, mitigation to these kinds of fire hazards. So how are you feeling today as you look at this? Has the United States government accurately prepared for what we're seeing unfold right now?
You know, as you describe our mission is to work with local responders to do the items that you mentioned. And so our mission is to make sure we're reaching down to local communities where our departments that we represent are reaching then into their community. So we provide information, we provide data, we provide resources that reach down into local communities to help people know, work through their fire departments to make sure those fire departments have the resources they need to respond in these cases. Now, one of the things that we focused on here and that's being focused on in the moment, and properly so, is the response to these fires. And there are multiple fires, as you know. The response here, they have done everything they could do, and it's been done as well as possible under these extreme conditions. The problem is that before the fire ignition, we had massive fuel loads. We had massive weather variables that came into play here. And when you have both those things, heavy fuel and high wind, and you have an ignition, then the results are what we're seeing play out in front of us.
Oh, understood. However, the dry conditions in California have been discussed for months and months. There were warnings about it in early December. The Santa Ana winds are nothing new to California. Everyone understands that that is the very unique environment that is California that can turn it into this kind of tinderbox. So, you know, the reason that taxpayers spend millions and millions of dollars to work on preparation and prevention for these situations is so that we can mitigate, as your mission statement says, the impact of it. Let's just watch this exchange with the Los Angeles Mayor, Karen Bass, because what we're hearing from people on the ground, they said there was no evacuation plan. They said thanks to their neighbors, there were people helping people to get in and out of the neighborhoods, but that it was very much a civilian effort, that they didn't see a whole lot of help. Watch this exchange with LA Mayor Karen Bass. Watch.
We're almost 48 hours after this fire started. There's not resources up there. The hydrants aren't working. Where's the National Guard? Where are miles and miles of water tenders? How are we addressing this?
Fire hydrants are not constructed to deal with this type of massive devastation, and that the number one problem, especially on Wednesday, was the fact that we weren't able to do the air support because of the winds.
Is that a satisfactory answer? And the winds are part of the environment, as I said. But was enough water pre-positioned in places that it could be called upon for this massive effort, which, people have, as I said, been warning about since early December?
Water in this situation comes not just from the hydrants, but there are other water sources. And so when firefighters were faced with the circumstances where they did not have water coming from hydrants, then they do other things. In other words, they go to bring in water tenders or tankers. We find water and other places to bring to the suppression efforts. But it's not just about the suppression. The firefighters are also doing life safety, and that's incredibly important. You see, this was a fast-moving, wind-driven fire, as we've mentioned. That means for us in firefighter speak, it's a horizontal fire. It's a structure-to-structure fire spread that is a conflagration. No firefighter, no suppression efforts is going to get in front of that. It just isn't. Under these circumstances, we have to do other things, and primary is rescue, life safety, and then we do suppression where we have the resources to do so and the circumstances allow.
Okay. I mean, obviously, this is a moment where people affected evaluate whether or not, the money that has been put into preparation for this kind of event is well spent, and if it's working, and if the people in charge of it are doing the job that they need to do. So, but today they're trying to save lives as we're watching, and people are just absolutely distraught in the middle of all of this. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Lori Moore Merrill, who is the U.S. Fire Administrator.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.